think it was Andy Edwards. You know Andy? It's like he was on Beato. There's like a English commentator on music.
Chris Martin is obviously a brilliant musician, and he knows a melody and a good lyric.
Yeah, of course he does. And they go, "Oh, in Bradford, he was a bit of a womanizer."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Blimey.
And I've bought a proper from Egyptian like prince's costume with all this embroidery, and I got a great big hat with the things coming down. It's got a great big eye over my pineal gland.
Of course you did.
So I when we're about to film, and they're all getting what we doing, Andy said, "Don't worry about this. I've got a plan. We're going to do this." And it was all chaos. And then I walk in, and as we're about to film, I walk back in with this outfit on, and they're all looking at me, but I'm not saying a word. Not saying a word, dressed like that. And they go, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm playing cowbell." So I'm playing cowbell with this outfit on. I've got, and the thing is, right at the end, we go into No More Heroes Anymore, and he drops his Coldplay thing in, and we're all going, "This actually sounds really good." And it's like Jim, he's going, "I don't know if I'm going to get the sack from the Stranglers for doing this," but it's like. And I said, "This is a great video because you put all these things, all these spanners in the work, and actually life seems to bring it all together, you know." And then I come and talk to you, and you, totally unrelated, start to relate it to Coldplay. Yeah. And the thing is, those songs are good. You're right. Those first couple of albums by Coldplay,
yeah.
And I even think the songs around now are good. I just think there's too much computerization. There's not I want to hear the band back. I wish they'd go in the bloody room and play.
Yeah, well,
you know, imagine if Mark Hollis was around and could produce them, and they made the next Coldplay album in that studio with the two bloody.
I'm sure that they would love that because Chris Martin is obviously a brilliant musician, and he knows a melody and a good lyric.
Yeah, of course he does.
They're all great musicians. Every one of them can play their asses off. They're really good. And I'm sure they would love to have someone like Mark Hollis produce them. But it's just that they've found this kind of lane. They've found this lane, which is it's very hard to get off. They're riding this wave, which is very high. And when you're up there, it's very difficult to get off that. Because if you get off that, it's very difficult to come back up again. So I mean, all credit to them for having such a successful career. I think it's fantastic. But I think that the source of their inspiration has a link to Talk and Mark Hollis. Absolutely. You know,
and it's in the voice as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and the type of phrasing.
Because Chris Martin, whatever how much computerization they use and sequencing, there's still that voice up front. It's that voice that tells you it's Coldplay.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a certain kind of harmonic vocabulary that they use, which is very similar. The way they do key shifts, sometimes the way that a chorus comes from a different, it's not a related key. I love choruses that come out of nowhere, that unexpectedly you're suddenly in a completely different key.
So Chris Martin, Chris, if you watch, I've got Dominic Miller from bloody Sting. It's from Sting. We're chatting about all this heavyweight stuff. We're talking about Mark Hollis and all this type of stuff. Get in touch, come down my studio, and we'll do some of your brilliant songs and get back to the bloody woody sound of reality.
Let's do a Talk tribute band with Chris Martin.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, will you come and play guitar on that?
Yeah, of course I will.
I know you would. That's the thing I love about
I'll do the David Rhodes parts. Yeah. No, but you know what? Another thing, Andy, is
you've got to come over my studio and play at something.
No,
but I'm cooking up something so good for you.
Is it possible that Talk is a kind of a prog band?
I think they are. There's a couple of bands that I don't talk about on this channel, and I know it's a massive hole, and I worry about it. The other one's XTC.
Oh yeah, that's another new Belgium band.
Yeah, and these are like the proggers love it, and Talk's the other one, And there'll be people. This is why I wanted to do this video, because I want a video about Talk Talk. This is the video about Talk Talk. And
because I think that Mark must have been influenced by it to some extent by either Yes or Crimson, or it sounds like it's coming from there in one way or another.
You know why he decided to sign to Verve?
No.
When they had a bunch of labels, they lost their deal. Verve offered a deal. He goes, let's sign them with them because of the Mothers of Invention are on that label.
Ah, there you go. So
he knows his stuff, but what's interesting in is he gets you in and then never talks about it.
No, but when I was hanging out with him, we never spoke about music.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird, isn't it? Because he knows all this stuff.
We talked about snooker and football. I think we might have played snooker once or twice in the village men's club. That sort of thing.
I got to be honest, I am a massive snooker fan. Massive. Oh, yeah? I'm a massive. It's the only sport I love, and my daughter wanted to go and play pool the other day, and I went down. She couldn't believe that I could actually play, and I knew what I was doing. I said I used to play snooker every day of my life, and I went down to. There's a guy called Carvis Tarabi. He was one of the last guitarists in Cardiacs. Amazing musician, and he was playing in Birmingham, and he's got a band. It's him and Steve Davis. Steve Davis is now making this insane electronic music. And I went down and Steve Davis was there. And I'd gone down with Shane Embry from Napalm Death. So there was me, Shane Embry, Carvis Tarabi from Cardiacs, and Steve Davis. We should have formed a bloody band. I wish we could have.
Yeah, Steve Interesting Davis.
Well, you know that he basically kept Magma going, and he's Magma's biggest fan. Right. And now Steve Davis goes around doing this insane psychedelic DJing, and he's got a band called Utopia Strong, and he makes electronic music.
That's him.
Steve. But when I came there, because he was at this, this psychedelic gig, but I just wanted to chat to him about the Dennis Taylor match of 1986. When Dennis Taylor came in and beat him on the final.
He's the one who had the big glasses.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I was there middle of the night. Dennis Taylor never got in front of Steve Davis, never. And then it comes right down to the black ball, and that black ball would be the first pot until he got in front, and they're missing it, and then Dennis Taylor down, glasses pot down, and I can remember jumping out of my chair.
Yeah, I remember it kind of looked like a Ford Granada, they used to say, with the glasses. Yeah. But I was a big Alex Higgins fan.
Oh, he was the man.
Because he had so much emotion.
Yeah. And it was like he was a brilliant snooker player and he got all the chops, but he was dealing with chaos as well.
Yeah.
He really was a merchant of chaos.
Yeah.
And I was playing pool down with the kids, and I realized if I could get into that thing where I was just going down, bang, hit, it's like Zen.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll have a game when I'm in London next time, if you're in London, because I go to the Chelsea Arts Club. They have a table.
Yeah, we'll go and do that, and we'll film it. You and me having a game of snooker. We'll have because I've thought of getting a pool table into my studio, so when musicians come down and we interview, rather than just talking on chairs, we could have a game of pool or snooker. Would that be?
We could go play a game of snooker, and then we can talk about something that we haven't talked about today. And I'm just trying to figure out, how are you going to get him into this conversation? Yeah. You know who I'm talking about.
Do the left turn, go straight in.
How are we going to get Alan Holsworth into the conversation about Talk?
I can do it because we'll finish it, and because this is going to be coming out as a series of videos. I went down to Marshall's Marshall headquarters. They built this studio. Have you been in it? No. It's unbelievable, this studio is. I went down there. I never do any sessions anymore. I was in the proper thing. Headphones on, control room bigger than my town, little producer down the end, and I was there thinking, oh, God. And it got to this point where they changed my cymbals, and I thought, I've got to get this takedown because I don't want them comping my cymbals into my old. And so I had to get it down in one, and it was a stress. I haven't been there for ages, so we've got that video. Then we got the Stranglers meets Coldplay video, and we've got this one. But Danny Sapko, of course, comes from Bradford, the same town as Alan Holsworth.
Oh, there's a connection, always a connection.
And I said to Danny, I said, do you know Alan Holsworth? He went, of course I bloody know Alan Holsworth. He's from Bradford, my town. And he says, well, what do they say about him? And they go, oh, in Bradford, he was He was a bit of a womanizer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Blimey.
And I think with that, we have done the remix. That's all we need for this video. I think we're there.
We finished with Holsworth.
We've
Well,
done also once. He's becoming the thing. He's like, you talk, if you know what I'm saying. Talk. And it's like, instead of, on my channel, instead of when the fat lady sings, it's when, I'm getting sick of talking about him now.
Well, I saw that
Widdly four note per string fool.
Exactly. I saw that on Beato, he had that guy, Peter Nielsen, that guitarist, and he was saying that Holsworth was one of his favorite guitar players.
Yeah, so, my favorite guitar player.
And speaking of Beato, I'm in Atlanta today. He's coming to the gig tonight.
Say hello.
I'm going to say hello from you because I like because you were beatified.
I was beatified, yeah. I think
beatified.
Did you come up with that?
No, you did. I think
I think I was chatting to you when I said it, because you were one of the few people to call me up when I thought I'd lost my channel. I thought Dominic, superstar guitarist Dominic Miller, he's still here. Now I could be gone back into the obscurity like Mark Hollis at the end of his career, but no, you were there on the phone for about an hour and a half. I think you were in Norway seeing your kids and all that. Yeah, This lovely conversation. You're my favourite of all the guests. You're the best one.
Oh, mate.
You just who's better than you?
Actually, I'll tell you another thing. Sting told me he saw one of your videos.
Did he?
Yeah, he said, I've just been watching your mate, your Brummie mate, doing a video, the guy that came to our gig. What's his name again? I went Andy Edwards. Yeah, him. I saw one of his videos. It's very good. And so...
I'm so proud.
You never know.
I am. My hair stood on end. I love Sting so much.
So you're a superstar now, Andy.
But I love Sting. It's more than just a superstar. I love Sting. I love him.
Yeah.
It's like him and Phil Collins. They're my two favourite people. Well, they're so massively talented. They're the great Phil Collins and Sting they're the best that our country's produced over the last 40 years. And for some reason, no one will accept this. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about this.
Phil Collins' son came to our gig the other day, and he's a spitting image of Phil when he was that age. It's unbelievable. It's like seeing Phil from Genesis.
And they all play. Was that Simon or was it Nick? I think Simon's Nick. Yeah. They're monster
because he played the drums in Genesis.
That's the one. Yeah,
and he's a monster spitting image of Phil when he was that age. Lovely young man, fantastic. Came to the gig, hanging out with Chris and really fun.
Oh, wonderful. I can't believe that Sting actually turned around and did that. I'll never get over him. I'll tell you, there's only one person that trumps Sting.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who it is, who's still alive. You can't count dead people. Obviously, Duke Ellington would trump Sting a little bit, I suppose. I'm sure you'd be happy to say that.
Yeah,
there's one guy, and you can say this to him, he's the best, but there's one guy, Stevie Wonder.
Oh, blimey, yeah. Oh, Stevie's like hands down. I mean, I'm totally with you on that. Well, I've been doing all these books and stuff, Beatles books, and my next book that I'm doing, which I haven't told anyone yet, but I'm telling you.
Announcement.
Yeah,
everybody.
Announcement. I'm working on a Stevie Wonder book for solo guitar.
Oh, that's more up my street, actually. I did have a go at one of yours, and it was doable. It is doable, but they're very well done.
And so this is my next conquest. So I've picked 14 songs, and I think I've picked some good ones. And I'm for solo guitar, melody, everything. You don't have to sing, but it's Stevie.
Have you done?
You're talking the best harmony that you've ever heard.
What's the one that goes?
Lately, I have found.
Lately, yeah. Are you doing that one?
I'm not doing that song, but
That's a beautiful song, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm doing a couple of songs from Secret Life of Plants, Flower Power, and Sending Your Love.
That's a beautiful song. I love that album.
Yeah, it's a really weird album. That was the first album where he kind of went a little bit off-piste.
Look, once he gets autonomy, right? Once Motown let him do what he wants to do, no artist has ever done a run of albums that are such genius.
No.
He's probably one of the few artists that was able to pull off a brilliant double album. with Something in the Key of Life. And within that run, all the way up to, I would say, the one with Master Blaster on, all of that, you know, is genius. And would you not want just one album, a double album where Stevie Wonder goes off piste? And that's what I love. Secret Life of Plants. I think it's amazing.
There's a few kind of fillers in it. It sounds like, but there's some 3 or 4 killer songs that are still in that tradition of Stevie at his best as a songwriter.
He's making a film. He's making a soundtrack to a documentary, and it's a weird documentary that when you actually go and watch it. But I feel he's painting. He's got so many strings to his bow, and you know, some of it's not about songs. It's about he's got all these synthesizers. I love him so much. Him and Sting.
Yeah, me too. For me, he's American royalty of songwriting. There's no doubt about it. Him and Paul Simon and maybe a couple of others. You know,
yeah, Paul Simon's in there as well. I love him as well.
As a lyricist, as a melody maker, you know, just unbelievable.
Not Neil Young though. He can sling his hook.
Well, he's Canadian.
Oh yeah,
and actually, Harvest is in my top 10 as well. I mean, you can't argue with Harvest as an album.
No, I can't.
Captured the moment, because it just captured the moment. You talk about production. In those days, they didn't care whether you were playing tight or not. It was just, are you getting the message across? It wasn't about, can you drop in the guitar because it's, you know, just a bit ahead of the beat. It's like, what are you on about? No, are you? Have you got the vibe or not? Is the vibe there? That's all that mattered. And if you listen to Harvest with headphones, it sometimes sounds like a shambles.
See, the thing is, people don't understand with me is I'll come out and I'll say, I hate Neil Young, blah, blah, blah. And I do a video like that. But I do check these things out. And when I decided to have a go at Neil Young, I thought, let's go and pick his best album and go and have a listen to it. Harvest, that's supposed to be his best album. And I put the headphones on and I remember thinking, bloody hell, this is amazing. I love this. I might buy it. And I thought, well, I'm committed to it now. I've still got to, you know, I still bloody hate, you know, whatever it is I hate by him, you know.
You hate Astral Weeks, don't you?
Yeah, that was what it was. I thought, I really do hate Astral Weeks, but I hate Neil Young. But see, the thing is, even with Van Morrison, the truth is, and I've said this out so many times now, he did an album called, and I'm no expert on it, it's St. Dominic's Preview. Came out, and it opens up with the one that Dexy's Midnight Runners covered, the Jackie Wilson. Yeah, no, the Jackie Wilson one that they famously did on Top of the Pops, and the researcher put a picture of the dart player Jockey Wilson up by accident instead of Jackie Wilson. You know that one? Well,
yeah, what the darts player?
Yeah. That's a Van Morrison song, and that's a bloody great song, that is. When you put that album on, there's 2 10-15-minute improvisations where Van's in there and it's just a couple of chords, and that's what I thought Astral Weeks would be like. He does it on St. Dominic's Preview. It's it's like folk Coltrane, and it's spinning out, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so all these things, I say these things, but it's about us having the conversation, because the trouble is this. I wanted this all nice and neat. I wanted to come on here, have a nice, neat video, talk about talk, punchy. That's the end. But now you got me with your Alan Holdsworth, and now we're just chatting. And it's, you know, there's only one thing that's nearly as good as music, and it's talking about music. And if you can't talk about music, music's not as good. Don't you know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
This is what makes it even better.
Yeah,
you know, and you'll say stuff to me, I'll say stuff to you, and then you go, "Oh, have a listen to that album." It's all it's all great stuff, really. I mean,
well, you got me into Holdsworth, actually. I got to say, because I've always been a bit of a skeptic, because I thought he was a bit of a shredder, you know, too many notes. But then I think, okay, hang on a minute. I heard a couple of his records where he wasn't shredding and he was just playing chords. I thought, wait, I think there's something going on here. So I'm like I'm coming towards Holdsworth slowly.
Do you know the 70s fusion guitarist Ray Gomez?
Yeah, of course I do.
Do you like him?
Yeah.
He's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah.
I was in the middle of a video shoot today, and Ray, I'm trying to get him to come on the channel. And he says, I don't know whether I should come on. I don't know. What if I say stuff that upsets people? I don't know. And you know, because he wants to tell the stories of because he's done all these incredible things. And he goes, I said, Ray, everybody thinks you're amazing. And he went, did they?
Everybody.
Do they? And I went, yeah, everybody does. I do. And now I've got you on the video, and that's a good place to stop. And I'll clip that and I'll send it to Ray.
Yeah,
You know,
he should
because
be on it.
he should be on it. Go and check
Anyway, it's
him
good
out.
to talk to you, Andy.
Go and check him out. There's a track by Lenny White on the Fusion album called Venusian Summer. And on side 2 of that, there's 3 guitar players, Aldi Meola, Larry Coryell, and Ray Gomez. Go and check out Ray's solo. And although he's shredding, he never pushes it too far.
No.
He's got a touch, which the great blues players, Hendrix and all that. He's got that in there as well. And I feel he's fiery, but he never goes... I think he's an absolute one of the greats, and I think he needs to be rehabilitated. And I want to do it on my channel, so I want him on the channel. But I got tell him
you can talk to him about Holsworth as well. You can ask him the Holsworth question.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It's the Jeff Beck question, because as I have said on my channel, I think a lot of the things that Jeff Beck was doing in the 1980s were from Ray Gomez. Go and listen to West Side Boogie. I'll send you a link to. You won't believe it. Go and listen to West Side Boogie, and you won't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Beck for me. I mean, there's only 3 albums that really kind of grab me of Jeff Beck's. It's Blow by Blow, obviously. They're Wired and There and Back. I've only after that. Love him. As a player, can't get. Nobody sounds like him.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, well, it's all there, isn't it? It's all receding into myth now. This is going.
Really?
I feel you're right, because you're in the bubble of Sting, and you're out on doing massive gigs on tour with Sting, still doing massive audiences, playing in a proper power trio. You're bloody lucky, you are. Great band, amazing song, out playing, amazing music. For you, it's still like bloody, I don't know, 1978 or whatever. But
feels like that.
Yeah. Oh, when I went to see you, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe Sting's doing this, because he is keeping alive the idea of 3 musicians going out and entertaining 30,000 people with guitar, bass, and drums. You can do it, and here's the example. Get some good songs and good players and keep it alive. God, I wish people had just realised that you'd have to reinvent the wheel, but
it's great fun. It's great fun, and it still feels like a career peak for me doing this. I've been playing with him for 36 years. Can you believe that? And it still just feels like this is the peak.
Yeah, what I saw was amazing. It was amazing, but but you're a brilliant guitarist. You can do bloody stuff no one could do. When I saw you on that gig, I gotta say, and there's not enough love spread around, but you've got so much going on, and you know how to stand in a rock and roll stance while playing the guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Holsworth could never do that. You can play with a guitar. I'd have to have it higher up, you see, but you've got a little bit in a rock and roll low, and you can put the legs apart and do the rock and roll pose whilst pulling off all the other stuff that you can do as well.
While playing jazz chords.
Yeah. That's what you've brought to the world of music. Jazz chords whilst having your legs splayed.
Game changer, yeah.
No, we all know it. I'm chatting to you like it's bloody, we're not on video. I'll have to edit all this rubbish out at the end. You think, shall I keep it in or leave it, or what?
Do what you like, Andy. You know best, mate.
I think that it's nice for people to see a couple of musicians just having a chat.
Yeah, I think a couple of musos talking, like we're in the pub talking
That's
about
the way
music.
It should be.
Or
not in the pub.
It's not going to work like with a Mark Hollis conversation where we just got to go listen to crickets. And,
and I know nothing about football, so I didn't even know. Who was it? Sol Campbell?
I don't know. He was talking about, because I think he used to support Tottenham. And then he stopped supporting Tottenham, and he was supporting Fulham. And because when he moved to Wimbledon, the Wimbledon Dons had already gone or something. Yeah, but he was really into football, and I wasn't really into football then. But every so often he'd just go, "Did you see that goal?" I don't know what he's talking about, but at least we got some verbal. We got something.
when I was playing with Robert Plant, it was very much I was in the band and we hung out and, we were friends and all that. And then later on, he got me do some stuff for him and I was hanging out more socially and he came over here a couple of times.
Yeah.
And he said, "Do you want to come out for a drink one of the nights?" I said, "Yeah, okay then." So I went down the pub with him and he was with
Brilliant.
some of his mates. All they talked about was football for the
Yeah.
whole night, football and farming. And I was like, didn't know what to say. I was trying to, I thought, I can't, I'm there, don't, Andy, don't even try and throw some jokes in. Just sit here quietly and nod. Because they were deep into it. They were deep
Yeah.
into the Wolverhampton Wanderers. And I realised there, But I've found this with a lot of the rock and roll top tier. There's no football amongst the musos. But once you get to the top tier, they all bloody like football and Monty Python. That's
Oh,
what
Sting's really into it.
into football.
Yeah, and so is Chris, our drummer.
See, that's what I'm on
I mean,
about.
they talk about it in the. We do these huge shows, like very inspiring shows, and we're on the bus or in the car or in the van, and they're talking about the drama going on around the football. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
we just did a fantastic gig.
But you got to
What are you
remember,
talking about?
Chris. He was in that she band. He was in the
Chris-
posh band, wasn't he? Before
The Mumfords.
yeah.
The
I had to
posh
bleed
band,
on
yeah.
my tongue when he told me that.
Yeah,
Well,
they are a posh band actually.
The
But
poshy one, that got that
Yeah.
Winston Marshall in, that one.
Yeah.
The Mumford
Yeah.
and Sons, all related to Lords and Earls, that one.
that's the one. That's the one. But he's
They
with
all
us
love
now.
the football. They probably own a couple of football clubs, that lot. It's like that folk in the Levellers, the one in the Levellers.
Yeah.
He has a festival in the grounds of his own castle or whatever it is.
Well, it's like and my son, one of my sons who lives in Ipswich, is where Ed Sheeran owns the team, doesn't he? In Ipswich.
Yeah, they all love it once they get to that level. They all love it. I mean, Sting's got a castle, but he's earned it.
Yeah.
You know what
Elton
I'm
John
saying?
used to own Watford, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Well, maybe I should buy a football team.
Yeah,
like
I
a
think
small
you
one.
should. Yeah, just a little one. Kidderminster
Yeah.
Harriers, and you could come up and see a Dan Gank with me. We chat about Alan Holdsworth, John Schofield, Pat Metheny. Kidderminster Harriers, I'll see if they're up for sale.
Well, they play on a Sunday afternoon, do they?
Oh, they do a little bit more than that, They do. They have a proper team. They got, all the stuff you need. Chairs.
Okay, so invite me to your studio. We'll have a jam.
Yes, I'll get
Put a
some
band together. Put a band together, and we'll call it something.
Well, you're a session player. I got my mate Martin Speak, who's a monster jazz musician. He brought charts down and everything.
I know Martin Speak, yeah.
Yeah, he's a monster player. And I said to him the other day, I said, if Dominic ever comes up, would you come up for London and we'll do some proper tunes? And he went, of course I would.
Yeah, well, I'll be up for that.
No bass, that's what I'm thinking. Guitar, drums, I'll play quietly. Guitar, drums, and sax. Some free improvisation and some charts and maybe a jazz standard. Would you be up for that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Acoustic guitar, maybe, and me trying to play quiet. I've just got a Paul Vertigo flat ride cymbal like Roy Haynes, and I've fallen in love with it. So I need to use it. So would you be up for that?
I'd be definitely up for that. You could have used that symbol on the Mark Hollis album.
You could have. And
You
then
know?
get rid of Vinny, Mark. I've got to believe flat ride. That's where. But I bet Vinny hasn't got a flat ride, has he?
Well, I mean, he clearly isn't good enough on the ride to make it on the Mark Hollis album.
The trouble with Vinny is he's got all the other stuff, you see.
Yeah.
All the other limbs doing all four-way coordination going on, you see. You take that away, he's got nothing. I'm pretty sure Vinny is better on just playing the ride than anybody else in the world.
But I'll tell you what he's not good at. Do you know what he's not good at is playing tambourine.
Vinny can't play tambourine.
He can't play tambourine, and I'll tell you why. Because it's in time.
Oh, it's got its own tempo.
No, he plays in time. A tambourine, you can't play in time, or else it just sounds wrong.
Oh,
It's got to be the lead vocalist playing tambourine, slightly wrong.
But I'm really good on tambourine. I'm a drummer.
Yeah, no, but you think you're good on tambourine, but I reckon you're not. Because it should sound like Mick Jagger, all over the place. A bit, you know what I'm saying?
What's Vinny, forgetting all the chops, what's Vinny's time like?
Oh, well, I mean, it's insane, right? He is he's
What about
quantized.
what about things like recalling tempos of songs and things? So I'm not very good at that. It's always been a
Oh,
weak
he's usually spot on. He's insane. His time is insane.
because I imagine someone that's got that about amount of genius that I think they have like almost like got perfect pitch. These guys
Yeah,
have perfect tempo, and they
yeah.
really because you think you could recall a tempo. It's quite an interesting thing. Oh, you're probably bloody good at it because you're a monster as well. But
No,
that's
but I mean, with the tempo, actually, I know what you mean, like perfect pitch and perfect tempo. There is such a thing. I believe it does exist. But with Vinny, what his genius is, as with his, you talk, what's his time like? Well, his time is amazing because if he's playing with someone who's probably on top of the beat, like our beloved band leader, our bass player,
yeah,
singer, who tends to be quite keen, shall we say,
yeah,
with the beat, sometimes, which is good. It's a good energy.
yeah.
Vinny knows how to kind of somehow play at that speed, but still pull it back in such a way that it's perfection. Because what Sting was frustrated with Stewart was that Stewart always used to catch up with him and play at the same speed, and then that used to drive Sting bonkers because Sting wanted to be on top of the beat, but he wanted the drummer to sort of hold back.
Yeah, you can't be on top of the beat if you're not on top of the beat.
But Vinny understood that, and so did Manu Katché.
He's a monster, isn't he, Manu
And
Katché?
so does Chris, it's how can you somehow it's that tight energy that's between those it's that time field, the energy of pulling someone back with the beat and just it's amazing. Keith Carlock, another one,
Oh,
monster drummer.
bloody hell, I love him. I did we did a video, got my mate on bass, and we did a whole bunch of his favourite bass lines, and we did the Tony Levin bass line for Sledgehammer, and I played on it, and a couple of people said, Addy's a good drummer, but bloody hell, he couldn't play that Manu Katché beat.
Oh, really?
Because you try, yeah, what you chase, because sometimes with drummers, some drummers you can just, John Bonham, you do the beat because it's like a signature beat. Steve Gadd's like that, but with Manu Katché, how do you play like Manu Katché?
You can't.
Because that's the answer. That's what it is. You can't, can
It's
you?
you can't, and you can't write it out. You can't transcribe that because he's got his own time feel. I mean, the meter is there. It's like a sort of a steel pillar of truth and law is the tempo, but he's dancing around it. He's like a real jazz musician because or a real blues singer. He the way the blues singers pitch or
Yeah.
a good jazz singer will pitch or phrase. He's all about that, Manu. That's what. It's no wonder that Peter Gabriel and Sting, everybody loves Manu because it's so musical. It's so unbelievably musical, and it's pop. It's not jazz. It ain't jazz. It's sort of pop, but it's intelligent pop, and nobody plays like that. Vinny can't play like Manu. He can't.
And Stuart Copeland, I've been listening to him a lot recently. Again, I went and got the big Police box set, and I've had it in the car, and I've gone round and round and round it again. It's like watching, The Godfather, Godfather 2, every few years I've gone through the whole Police thing again. And Stuart Copeland, it's almost like he's got ADHD, and I don't think he can even remember what he did on the first verse. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
you played a
yeah,
part. He does the chorus, and when he comes back, you're supposed to play the drum beat that relates. And this is the genius of it.
yeah.
It's the genius of it. And
It
you can
is.
see the albums go, and you could see us. I hate to say all this to you, but I've just been listening to it. It's on my mind, so if I'm either right or I'm wrong. But Sting needs them. But then his songwriting power is so strong, he doesn't need them, and you can feel it draining away as
Yeah,
they go out. And they're brilliant albums, but they're brilliant albums because of Sting's songwriting.
exactly.
And you feel that the musicians, Andy Summers, monster musician, Stuart Copeland, monster musician, but they go, well, what is our worth here?
Mm,
And rather than just going, well, now Sting's on the ascendancy, they fight it.
yeah,
Feel them fighting it, and it's interesting because the homogeneity on the first three albums is incredible.
it's
Regardless of how
incredible.
long, they're just like in it. They need each other.
Yeah, well, Sting brought out the best in those musicians, and it makes you think that the only setting where because they're not session players. This is the
No,
thing. The only setting where Stewart really sounded amazing apart from Curved Air, was with the Police, and same with Andy with the Police. It's like they've found a way to play that collection of songs written by that singer-songwriter, and that was it. But you put them in any other setting. That's the difference between Vinny and Pino and myself and Chris and other, is that we are session players. And so we can go into a different situation, like Mark Hollis or whoever, and find our way into that realm. But Stuart, it's very rare that you hear him on anything else where he sounds that amazing. I can understand why he's considered, like, by drummers as a sort of a top fiver. Him and Bonham and, I don't know, Gadd or whoever, because of his style. Same as he's the sort of Jeff Beck of guitar playing. It's very stylized. Because the thing about Jeff Beck is what people get confused with, I think, is that he's the genius and he's the greatest of all time. Maybe, but to me, that's not the case. He's a stylist, an incredible stylist. Like Stuart Copeland is a stylist. Nobody sounds like that, but it's very stylish. How does it work in another?
The thing for me was Stuart Copeland, and he was probably my first big influence on drums, and I'm glad he was. Him and Billy Cobham were the two. If not, I would just sound like a standard drummer. It's Stuart that made me think about the drums. But when I look back on it now, Stuart, when he hits a splash or a tom or a snare drum, when he holds a straight rock beat down, everything is just filled with this sense of buoyant joy.
For sure.
And so when I was in the Police tribute band, there were so many times where Sting's right in, and then the way Stuart plays, like say When the World Is Running Down.
Yeah.
When the world
Amazing.
is running down, and you just do it. You don't have to do anything. If you get it, because you just imagine Stuart's feel and Sting's song, and it pulls you along, because you're playing them every night. But it's just pure joy. But there's other bands you can, if you're doing a cover version or something, and you're just having to play the straight all the way through. So, oh my God, when's this going to end? A good song, but with everything's it's full of joy. All of it is absolutely incredible. So but he must have been a difficult bloke to have around.
No, but he's an amazing bloke, because I got to know Stuart quite well. I've spent a bit of time with him in Los Angeles, because he's always been kind of part of the family. And I knew his brother was, both his brothers, one of them was Sting's agent, Ian Copeland, and his other brother was his manager, even Sting's manager, Miles, at the time. So I got to know Stuart. Really funny guy, intelligent, very, very generous guy, very well educated, really amazing person to hang out with. I did a jam with him once. It was his brother playing drums, Stuart playing guitar, and I was playing bass. It was a shambles, of course, but then we hung out in Los Angeles, and I remember we played this game called Pulf, which was a mixture of polo and golf with small polo sticks. Very funny guy. Yeah. Had me in stitches, and because he's a smart geezer, very very smart, and he knew Sting's number. You know what I mean? Yeah. He knew how to wind him up as well. Yeah. They wound each other up, and that's part of the chemistry of that band. That's what I remember seeing them play at Sting's wedding, because they hadn't played for years. At Sting's wedding, I saw Andy, Stuart, and Sting get together on stage and play 3 songs, and it was like so intense, because there was that energy where Sting was like looking around like this, kind of, what the fuck are you playing? Don't play that. You're rushing. But wow, that energy that they had was just magic. That was the Police. We can't recreate that as with this trio. We're never going to get that energy, because it's not a band. It's a band is like a failed democracy, as we talked about that once. Whereas now it's an artist with players. He's in control of the situation. We're still allowed to take risks and to provoke him. He wants us to provoke him.
And there's way more songs, and there's a much wider palette for you to express yourself in. Because the other songs, you can go down Hendrix, you could go to Miles Davis. I could hear it all in there, because Sting's songs the palette widens so much after the Police,
Yeah.
and because you're not just doing Police songs, you
But I
know.
love doing Police songs. I really, really like it. And I like putting myself in that character. I don't want to be Andy, but I want to be in the song. I want to be sort of experienced, like he was saying when Stuart, how you described him is just joy,
Yeah.
or I want to feel that. I want to feel what did they feel, and I want to.
But when I
Not,
said when I feel bad about that, when I said he must have been difficult to be around. When that's your genius, and you get to the point where, because when you get to Ghost in the Machine, you could these songs are coming in like wrapped around your finger. They're
yeah,
bloody. What do you do on that?
yeah.
You could not play, and they're still going to be amazing. And so Stuart's like, "Go, what do I do?" You know, it's like you've got all that explosion of energy in Steve Gadd. Steve Gadd would just sit there and put a beauty. Robert said something to me about like this. He said it was a. Well, I'll say what he said. It was like he was chatting to me once, and he said after I'd been in the band, he said, "You're a good drummer, Andy." But he goes, "The problem is," he goes, "when you hit that snare drum, I can tell it's you." And I went, "Yeah." I went, "That's what I wanted to have as a drummer." He said, "Yeah, but I want you to disappear within my song. I don't want you." He said,
Oh,
doing,
really?
everything you're doing is sticking out." And he was right.
That's
He was
amazing.
right that everything I'm the sort of player that, and this is because Stuart Copeland's like me times 10. He's going to stick out and he's going to be going, yeah, look, you know,
Interesting.
and in the and I thought, I went, oh my god. So I said, he goes, it's not even fast fills or chops. He said, sometimes I don't want it to groove. He goes, to think of these drummers that used to drum for the BBC, you know, and also your snare drums. And he goes, sometimes I just want the snare drum to just go. Pff. And he was right. And I realized, oh my god, yeah, I'm a drummer. And I got the feeling that he spent his whole life having to. The drummers won't do what he says, even though he's Robert Plant, because
But
drummers.
what was it like for him when with Bonham then? Because I mean, every time Bonham hit anything, you knew it was him.
Well, there was another thing that happened with me with Robert, where we were trying to work on something, and he goes, "Have you got a beat, Andy?" And I went, "Well, how about this?" He went, "No, that's not right. Have we got this?" "No, that's right." And I thought he's used to John Bonham coming up with something. And the thing was, I got chops. I've got tons of chops, right? But it was that realization it's not about chops. You know, John Bonham's John Bonham, and he is like that. But once you've had that, then who, you know, where'd you go?
Yeah.
And I, you know, something. I think when Robert did his first solo album, Phil Collins played a big part, not just in drumming on it, but actually getting Robert to stand back up and make an album and
Oh, really?
yeah, I think so, and I think that's what people don't they don't get it with musicians. I'm nearly 60 years old now, and I can see that these are far more important attributes of a musician to feel like, you know, oh well, Phil's got my back, and we'll do this. Yeah, you can do it, Robert, and then come up with a Phil Collins drum beat, which is bloody sublime, you know.
Amazing.
And so we are all individuals in a way, even the session guys in a way, I suppose. It's like there's stuff that's far more important, and it comes back to, you go back to Genius of Mark Hollis. He's got that refined. Well, this is the story of this. We've gone on a great big odyssey talking about everything, but actually, there is no such thing as a session musician. There can't be, because we're all involved in the same thing. It's a weird thing, isn't it? If you think
Yeah,
about it,
it is a weird thing. Yeah.
because you said I wasn't a session musician. Are you a
No,
session
that's right.
musician with Sting?
No, and exactly. I mean, you know, I don't feel like a session musician with Sting. I don't feel like a session musician with anyone, actually.
That's it, yeah,
And,
baby, that's it, and that's what makes
um,
you such a
but
great session
but I
musician.
get a lot of work, or I used to. Well, in back in the day when labels were calling
Yeah,
people like me every day, I used to wear a cape and just do like 2 sessions a day sometimes. But now it's not really like that anymore. But I've never felt. I always put myself in the position of like right inside the music with the artist and the song. With the song first, and then the artist. You know, there was always the label around as well. Is that whole psychology? Being a session player is not about just about what you play. It's the psychology of working with people. It's like because you've got like this. these different power units. You know, you've got the artist, you've got the label, the producer, but the real boss, I've always thought that my secret weapon has been the real boss in the room is the song. And that has always been my sort of secret way of getting into this so that everybody's happy. So I kind of listen to them politely, but really, what is the boss asking? What is the song asking me to do?
I did a clinic tour with Kenny Aranoff, and he's another guy that just worked and worked and worked and done session and session. I said, "Can you give me any advice, Kenny?" And he went, "Yeah." He said, "When you get into the studio," he said, "go up to the songwriter who's written the song and say, 'Can I have a copy of the lyrics?' and ask him what's the song about." And I was like, "Okay, sounds a bit weird." And so I was doing something for him. It was only a little thing, but I was doing something for someone, and I said to this songwriter, it was a girl, and she'd written this song, and I said, "What's the song about?" And they went, "Oh, well, it's about this." And you could see them light up, and I thought, "Oh God, it works."
Funny. That happened to me once. I did a session for Chris de Burgh back in the 90s. And so I'm in the session, in the studio. It's a nice song, you know, like it sounded nice. And then he sat next to me and he said, "Look, it's important I tell you what this song is about." So I'm thinking, what? All right. So he's like, "It's about some bird, you know, like
Yeah,
we went out for dinner and then I don't know, we got it on. I don't know. The same thing." I'm thinking, well, okay, you know, thanks. What am I supposed to do with that? You know,
so you haven't utilized this.
as I say, you know, it's interesting. And also, another talking about lyrics, another name dropping here. I wrote a song with John Bon Jovi once, and I remember him. We were on a writing seminar with one of these camps type things, and we did a song. And I said, what should we do then? He said, "Well, I want to write a song about a guy who's just lost his job. And you can see his car pulling away, and you can see the dust from the back of his car. And isn't it tough? And he's trying to, you know, find his girlfriend." And I'm thinking, isn't that what all your songs are about? Some guy, you know,
Yeah.
all right, well, all right, mate, sure, whatever. You know, all your songs are about some guy who's lost his job and, you know, in the factory, and he's, you know, going to take his bird out for a beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's I always thought it's like Bruce Springsteen, but with poodle hair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, God bless him. I do like him. He was a very
Yeah,
good.
I'd
He's
rather
a
have
real,
Bon Jovi than Bruce Springsteen any day of the week.
you know, a gentleman, John Bon Jovi, a really cool guy as well. I haven't got a bad word to say about him at all. It's just that it made me laugh. And Bruce, he's, you know, good. He's one of Sting's mate. You know, I've met him a few times. He's super, super nice
Oh,
geezer.
he's a lovely bloke. If I could meet anyone just to have a chat to them, it would be Bruce Springsteen. I don't like
Yeah,
much of his music though, and some of it I really hate. That Born to Run album, there's one track on there, it's actually jars me. I can't take
yeah.
it.
I always like that song Philadelphia. I thought that was a good song.
Oh, I like that. That was a nice song, yeah, but that was
No, a bit synthy, you know, but it didn't sound like all the other Bruce stuff. It's just a really, really nice song, and it fit the movie really well. Great lyric, great production. I think it was Bob Clearmountain probably
yeah.
who mixed that. It sort of sounds like it could have been Bob Clearmountain.
The trouble
You
with
know,
Bruce Springsteen, if I try to imagine what he's like, I'm imagining him. What does Bruce Springsteen? I'm imagining him now in my head. The first station. Oh no, it's Brian Adams. Sorry.
well, there's
These are
another
my
one.
jokes. These are
I
my
worked with him as
jokes.
well. I'll
Oh,
tell you,
you
Brian
haven't.
Adams. I did that song that was a big #1 hit with him and Rod Stewart and Sting. And I remember being in the studio. We did that song written by Kramer. Uh,
I remember that one because I remember thinking Brian Adams is
all,
lucky. He's
all
lucky
for
to have
one,
got
one
on this
for all.
lineup. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
thinking he's
all for
lucky to
one.
got on
Yeah,
this lineup. And he, Rod Stewart,
Sting,
and Brian
Brian
Adams.
Adams, and Brian Adams was the one who called me to do the session, and he did all the organising. What gear do you need? He was like the manager because he manages himself. And when we got to the studio, because Sting and Rod Stewart have got a bit of a clash together, Sting just went, "Oh, we're gonna. What is this? All for Rod?" Because it was called All for One, One for All. And Sting called it All for Rod. So they were like bitching. He was bitching about Rod Stewart or something. So stupid. You know, there we are. It was like, guys, come on, you calm down. you know, and it was a huge hit. I've got a gold
Yeah, I remember
plaque
it, yeah.
for that one. Anyway, enough chat. I've got to go, Andy. I've got to
All
go
right,
and do
that's
a
lovely.
sound check.
I will break this one into two. And the other
Oh.
bit might just go for the members. We may want to try and control the amount of watch this thing for you.
Awful
But
Rob.
I've enjoyed it. It's been a
Yeah.
brilliant chat. I know they'd love it if I put it. I'll break it in two and put it up on the main channel.
Whatever you
God knows
like,
what I'm
mate.
going to call this second half. Adventures in Music with Dominic Miller. I think
All right, mate.
All right, matey. Lovely to see you.
Cheers.
Bam, bam, bam. And I'll just stop the recording.